You know, and I know, and they know, 'cause we go all in. You know, and I they know, 'cause we go all in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newest edition of What You've Been Missing. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are now listening to the All Dressed Up podcast. It's your boy K Dizzle DC, and right underneath me is the man, the myth, the legend, Hef Streams. What up, Heifer Love?
What up, K Dizzle DC? Good to see you, my boy. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. After that thrashing we got super early in sports, I mean, there's nothing else to be said about it. But look, we got a lot of little stuff to talk about. I know I just put you on game, so you got a lot to say about some of the things that we're gonna pull in today. But how was your week, my man?
Oh man, it was a nice week. We getting closer to the holiday each and every week. So had some fun times with the baby, went and saw some Christmas lights, spent some time with the family, man. Got some buzzing on the audio, but uh nah man, had a nice family week, man. Like I said, we're looking forward to the holiday. My family's gonna come up and visit tomorrow and help decorate. Just get the Christmas vibe going, you
Yeah,
know? That's what it's
yeah.
all about, bro.
Hey, look, got the tree out, got the lights out. We ready. We still got a little more Christmas shopping. Shout out to everybody who came in early. Shout out to those who
We
came in eventually.
ready.
Shout out
We
to
ready. Y'all in the
had
house with y'all Christmas trees, like, we ready.
Oh, yo. Hey, look. Happy birthday, McKenna, 14. Happy birthday, Naya, my niece, old. Shout out to her. Congrats on her and everything. It's
Happy birthday.
birthdays are always good. That's when we sip champagne. But look, let me put this up here right now because I know we're gonna be talking real heavy, real deep tonight. 301-857-1757 to join the conversation
Man,
tonight.
tell them what episode this is,
This
man.
is episode 70. Episode
Wow.
70. And look, I didn't even get to tell you. We'll talk about it later tonight. But man, our audience is growing in a major way, even on the podcast. So we opened it up to more channels. We got fans in Alaska, fans in Russia. I mean, maybe that helped Brittany Griner. I don't know. But we're here and we're alive. We're gonna keep doing this because most importantly, we love it and we love to see y'all get involved. So um where
Hey
you want
man,
to start, my man?
our arms reach, no pun intended, the arms. But we're gonna talk about some things tonight. But if you don't know, if you've been under a rock, we are live each and every Sunday night on YouTube. So please check us out. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your pastor, because the pastors are getting it in. We're gonna talk about how the pastors are getting it in tonight. And come on back,
uh,
come on back. I know we've been a little bit, I wouldn't say inconsistent, but not as timely as of late. But we're back, man. The boys are back in town each and every Sunday night until we tell you different. So come on through in the chat, hit us up on a number, and let's have some fun, man. So what you want to do, K Dizzle? Let's
let's
let's do
do
let's do sports and get it out of here,
all right. 48-22 Eagles. That's all I care about.
my man.
But no. Tampa Bay got mollywopped. Tampa Bay got
Who would have
mollywopped. It
thought?
was
Who would have
it was
thought?
embarrassing.
My girl
Um,
Shanae has so many puns on Purdy's name, Mister Irrelevant. She was like, "Oh, he out there looking purdy." she had her comedy session where she was going to town off his name, but I didn't think, man, that he was gonna go out there. And I know there's 10 other guys on the field, but
mhm.
I didn't think my man Terrific Tom was gonna go out like that.
Oh, it was bananas. What's up, Adrian? Yeah, let's
What's up,
go Eagles.
Adrian?
Flag was five, baby. That was an atrocious game. It was just a show of force, letting people putting the whole league on notice. We are not to be played with.
You
More
guys were like
importantly,
you guys were like the only team besides the 49ers that handle business.
yes, yes. There was a big showdown in Texas to see who owns that state, and the one win team gave the Dallas Cowboys a run for their money, and they barely won that game.
The
Barely won
Cowboys,
the
the,
game.
the
Cowboys
Cowboys
barely
is
won the
just
game.
those. The Cowboys are the same old boys, man. You can have the most blitzed up, glamored up stadium, You can make all the money in sports. Jerry Jones can keep having pictures come out from the 20s, and they're still going to be losing games or winning games that they, should be blowing people out. Like
Mhm.
everybody knew the Texans shouldn't have even been close today. And
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know what that says about the Cowboys as a whole, man. Maybe they should have stuck with your boy Cooper Rush.
yeah. They don't. Yeah, they got tons of talent. They have no idea what to do with it. Shout out to my man Adrian. Hey, go back and log into CNC, man. I just re-upped all my bases. Is crazy in there. But no, look, there was a lot of
Adrian might be a young lady. That's a we don't know.
no. I know my guy.
Oh.
There's a lot of upsets today. I mean, Jacksonville taking down the Texans. Um, shoot, I wish I was rooting for.
Who said I didn't know that Detroit was going to be such a favorite today
I knew they were gonna beat them.
in that game against Minnesota?
I knew they were gonna beat them.
every sports book was saying Detroit was a favorite. All the lines were saying they were going to score a lot of points, and for some
Yeah,
reason I thought Kirky was going to come out and get it done. And my parlays were
no,
destroyed, man. My
yeah. You should have.
parlays were
You should have picked
destroyed
Detroit.
messing with Minnesota.
You should have picked Detroit. Minnesota's not real. They're not real. Carolina came to beat Seattle. We're still waiting
Come
on Deshaun Watson to come back.
The
He still ain't come
Commanders
back.
had a bye week, and the whole playoff structure just shook in their favor because the Giants got mollywopped, and the Panthers came out and stomped the Seahawks.
Indeed, indeed, they did. So, I mean, sports was definitely interesting, especially football. Shout out to the World Cup. We got the quarterfinals on semifinals on Tuesday. Um,
AK
Brazil
Dizzle,
get
how long is the World Cup? That shit feels like it's 6 months long. I thought it was gonna be over by now.
shout out
Shit.
to Croatia, shocking the world, beating Brazil over the weekend. Um, the World Cup in Qatar is still rolling. Semifinals are this week. I think it's Netherlands. I can't don't get me started because I'm trying to get into it. But this Tuesday is the
Don't expose
I'm not exposing. I'm exposing
your soccer knowledge that
my
you learned
soccer
from
knowledge, my
FIFA.
football knowledge. I'm not going to do that. Just know they got games on Tuesday. But look, look, let's get into some quick rants before we talk about what we want to
Kick
talk
it
about.
off, man. You
Oh
kick it
no,
off.
I know you wanted to talk about Brittany Griner. I
Well,
know you want to
do
talk
your
about Brittany
take, do your
Griner.
hot take first, and
I
then we'll
really
go into
don't.
Brittany.
I don't know if I have a hot take per se, man. I really don't, because I think those three strong topics that we talked about. I think it's going to pull the weight of it all. I
Well,
didn't.
let's roll because before we came live tonight, K Dizzle brought up a topic that I'm gonna have fun with because shit just gets crazier and crazier by the minute, especially with this cannabis game. It's big business,
Uh,
people. It's
multi
big
hundred billion
business.
dollar business,
And
hundred billion dollar
there's a
business.
line between the business and the laws behind it, and where you go with that cannabis is up to you. But
Hmm.
when you take it there, you have to know their repercussions. Everybody knows the BG story. Shout out to Brittany Griner. She did come
Yeah.
home. I am always in favor of our people coming home. Let me start off by saying that. If you haven't heard of this story, something's wrong with you. But we had Brittany Griner obviously doing some time. She was set up to do about 9 to 10 years in Russia because she
Hmm.
had some vape cartridges. They just pulled off a trade, they being Biden and the government, the US government, to trade the Russian arms dealer. That was
Hmm.
actually in a movie a few years ago, but traded an arms dealer for Brittany Griner. I'm happy she came home. I really am. I don't know what the image is politically on the landscape of how people are feeling about it. I've been kind of seeing, probably like a 60-40 reaction. Really, everybody's happy BG came home. But I have, even within my friends in my inner circle, a lot of people have been kind of split, talking about, America might have given up too much for the trade. Nobody's ever always in agreement with the trade in anything. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Whenever you see a trade in sports, you even say, somebody probably got the short end of the stick. But let's talk about, the trade and what's gonna happen now on the political landscape after this deal was made so public.
Well, let's talk about this first and foremost. So it's twofold of this whole story, right? Well, they traded Brittany Griner for a Russian arms dealer, Victor Boot, who coincidentally had 5 years left on his on his sentence. 5 years left on the sentence. Yes, bad dude, but they decided to make the trade to get for Brittany Griner. That people are mad about that for one. The second thing they're mad about is saying, well, we still have this other guy. Yo, appreciate you, Shotty. We still have this other guy named Paul Whelan, who's been in jail over there. It's uh, one U.S. Marine who's over there that got caught. I think he was doing some nefarious stuff too, but
Tired of some espionage.
espionage stuff. Um, but he's been over there since 2016,
Mm.
and what 2016 or 2018. He's been over there for a while, and people are saying, "Well, you haven't got him back, and he was there first, and all that other nonsense." Look, um, Brittany Griner was over there for one reason. Paul Whelan was over there for another reason, and they made the swap because they made the swap. What was more politically advantageous, and Brittany Griner was the politically advantageous person to swap for. Um, I'm glad she's home. That's all I can say on it. We don't know what this Victor Booth's going to do when he get out, but he's out. So it is what it is. Um, it's all about politics at the end of the day. It really is all about politics. Shouldn't have had a vape cartridge. There was always going to be a left side and the right side of that story. But look, she's home now. Paul, we hope when you get home too, we figure out something else. I don't know if we got anybody else to trade for you. Yo, Erica's in the house
Oh,
too. I don't know if we have anybody else to trade.
it's gonna be a good show when
It's gonna
Erica
be stupid.
McCoy slide on through. What's up, Erica?
So look, shout out to Brittany Griner, and you see they cut all their locks off. She cut all her locks off a couple weeks prior to
She said
prepare
she
for
cut him
winter.
off.
She
Yeah,
said she cut
she.
them off to prepare for the winter, the upcoming winter in Russia, because it'd be crazy over there. Nene's in the building. What's up, babe? So
What's up, Shanae?
you know, um,
My baby Shanae.
the government did what they were supposed to do. Ooh! They did what they were supposed to do and brought her home, and that's that. I have no other feelings towards that.
So no, so like let's go back to that's why I was taking you to the next round while you get your visuals straight.
Mhm.
But is there a backlash from the decision and the way it was played out? Like everybody's got an opinion on who they would have traded, what they would have done.
Mhm.
But like you said, the guy had 5 years left. He walks free in 5 years. You have an opportunity to get one of the most influential athletes of all time out
Mhm.
of jail from doing a 10-year bid in another country. I think you have to get her back, and I think ultimately you show weakness if you don't. I don't
Okay.
think I don't think the U.S. showed a level of weakness or I don't think it was unintelligent for them to do that. I saw some athletes come out publicly on social media platforms and say they're not going to vote for Biden. What's up,
Indeed.
Bianca HCG in the building?
ACG's in the building.
So I don't think people have to feel different about Biden. Like if they don't want to vote for Biden again, so be it. I'm not
Mhm.
going to sum up Biden's presidency over this decision. But I think it was a good decision. I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her family. Hopefully, she can stay out of Russia and never go back again. Get them locks back and do her thing. But
Mm.
for everybody to come out and say it was a bad trade, we should have did this, we should have did that. You don't know what type of leverage you don't even know how the communication was even going between the sources of Russia and America for that deal to be made.
You're not voting again because of the student loans. Oh, you stupid! Look, I think they just saw an opportunity and they took it, plain and simple.
Of
It is
course.
it is what it is. Glad that she's home. It's a political situation at that point. You got one the greatest WNBA basketball player of all time. Um, that got caught over there, during those times. And so, it's just not even sure why you send out athletes to other countries' games. This opens the door for bad stuff like this. Well, here's the thing about the whole conversation, right? We didn't send her over there. She went over there and she has been going over there to make a bunch of money, additional money, by playing in their leagues, because the WNBA doesn't pay as the same amount as men make in the NBA. And that's a whole different conversation on why they don't make that same money. And people are upset about that. There are some situations where you can say, uh, equal pay is just, and then you can there's some situations where you can say equal pay it's unjust to either side. So yeah, no, they didn't send her over there. She's been going over there for years, playing in the Russian leagues, making additional money.
But
So
check
she
this
didn't
out.
go.
But check this part of it out too.
Mhm.
Look at the time that the Russian arms dealer got for what he got caught up for. The type of
Yeah,
sentence that he got was what, like 10 to 15.
yeah.
So he got a 10 to 15-year sentence. Forgive me for not knowing the exact amount of time he got, but he got relatively the same amount of time here for being a prominent arms dealer, quote unquote, the merchant of death,
Yeah.
that she got for having three vape cartridges. So is it equivalent? Of course not. Like if one of their all-time celebrity influencers came over here and got caught up with some vape cartridges, we would never get away with giving
But
them 10 years.
that's just, well, you got to remember that if you have never seen Locked Up Abroad, you have got to watch it. Okay. I was just my wife had it on this TV, and this guy, they were talking about how these people got life sentences. One dude was got life sentence for being the driver of a from a murder scene. He got life sentence. He was driving the car. He wasn't a part of it, but he drove the car that the people who killed the person got away in. Oh, this situation will come back in 2024 election. Trump will probably host a rally show. I said, that's horrible. That's so bad. But I mean, it's one of those things where, look, I think you got something for nothing. The guy had 5 years left. Whether it's now, whether it's 5 years from now, it's not gonna make a difference. He's gonna get back to doing whatever he was doing. Um, the only issue is it's gonna be a lot harder because you're still gonna have more eyes on him. It's more trackers on him. So look, Brittany, shout out Brittany Griner coming home. Greatest of all time in women's basketball history. She has all
Man,
the
just
record
go hop
accolades to
on,
it.
just go hop on the Orlando Magic and be their 12th guy and get you a check because I'm sure they could use you
Oh my gosh.
and call it a day, BG.
Oh my gosh. Welcome home. She's just in time for Christmas. But look, the next thing I want to flip to, okay? Next thing, how hypocritical is that the US with the biggest love for guns, slander and arms dealers?
Exactly. And that's been on my mind too.
Ah,
That's kind
ah,
of where I went because I left off the episode the other night with this K Does a couple weeks ago when I was talking
uh-huh.
about all the viral videos of just people getting shot, man. Like I
Hmm.
can't take it anymore how desensitizing, they're trying to get people to be like all these guns that people are walking around and just shooting is scary. Like you don't want to be out here and just talk back and think you're gonna be fighting like you would back in the 80s and 90s because it's crazy. My man Arizona is going in on who watches the WNBA and how bad the WNBA's product is. He said he would have left BG over there, period, messing around with the WNBA. And shout out to M Stu, man. That's our guy, Mike from Enough Said. Shout out
I
to him.
talked to, I tried to, I've watched a few games of the WNBA. I've watched a few games of WNBA. That's all I'm gonna say. I've watched a few games. I'm not an avid watcher of it. But look, you ready to flip to this next one? Because I know it left you speechless when you told me because you didn't hear about it. It is
Man,
so it's so
so dry. That's a perfect way to
it
sum
is.
it up. It's
It
like it's
is.
so dry.
It
Like
is.
you try to give them a chance, and then when you get there and pay $40 for the
You
same
get
meal you
there.
would pay at a Laker game, you're like, why am
It's
I
hard.
here?
It's hard.
The
But look,
highlight they're gonna get is like a reverse
so
layup.
stop. So now we're gonna flip because you're going too hard in WNBA. Look, if you are living under a rock, right? There is a pastor. There is a pastor of a well-known black church in the heart of Georgia, in the city of Atlanta. Okay, that well, passed the blunt in the pulpit. If you didn't know what the episode title was, but that wants to grow marijuana to attract.
Hold on. What you just say?
It wants to grow marijuana, cannabis,
Who wants
to
to grow
attract
cannabis?
people. The pastor wants to grow cannabis to attract more people to his church, to attract mainly black men, which is stereotypical. I ain't gonna go there yet, but let's pull up what this man actually says, what he says in his own words, right? Let me pull this thing up. Hold on. Let's go right there. and this is what he does on the show. Hold on, can we hear?
Black church in America.
Wow.
And so my position to my deacons is, why aren't we not raising cannabis? I'll be able to bring in black males. They're able to do it legally. I'm teaching them farming.
Oh my
I'm
God.
helping them to enhance the ecosystem. This is the kind of conversation. So if the guy, black boy in Bankhead said, they growing weed at the church, where do I join?
Yes.
I don't need no pamphlet for him.
Hey, hey, hey! They smoke weed anyway. They
I
smoke
feel you.
weed
I feel
anyway,
you. I
Shotty.
feel you. I shot you. That's my man too, by the way. And churches do need more revenue, but certain things don't go together. And he just off the break said, "I'm gonna bring in black boys to come up in here." And I get it, man,
Well,
but it's like a easy business move. And everybody's gonna look at it from like, "Oh, you giving these young black brothers an opportunity," and I get it. But it's like you praying on them to come in and basically work for nothing and be your cannabis growing slave. That shit's crazy, bro.
is it? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you took it a whole different. You took a whole different avenue. I wasn't looking. So you talking about he's looking to get free labor from black men specifically to get in the church, and at the same time show them how to grow weed and cultivate cannabis, and then give them preach them the word of the gospel
He
at the
don't
same
gotta
time.
he don't gotta show them how to grow weed, bro. But I feel him, I appreciate him giving more jobs and boosting the economy and looking out for young black men and everything and all that. But it just doesn't sound right to me, man. But it's like Adrian said, they think he just wants to use it to grow his congregation. It's big business, man.
I believe this has nothing to do with this congregation. I
What
believe
you
this has
believe? What you believe?
absolutely nothing to do with his congregation. I believe this has everything to do with him wanting to go into that industry in that business,
Exactly.
because understanding it is a multi-billion-dollar industry that is on the cusp of blowing up before it becomes federally legal, and then once it becomes federally legal, then it can be federally insured, then they can put all their money into the banks, and now it becomes taxable. And if you have a strong foothold in the beginning of anything like this kind of market, which is what it is, then you are already going to be ahead of the game. So I think it's just him wanting to go, understanding that, hey, I've got a ton of land in Atlanta on this church property, which I don't have to pay taxes on. I can grow. I should start a cannabis business where I can grow and sell cannabis, right? Grow and sell cannabis and join within an industry so I can sell it, right? But we use the church and the we use church and Christianity to mask it and say, okay, we're gonna bring our young black men who are already doing this illegally into the church and show them a better way of doing it. No, bro. No, no, that's not what
It's
that's not it.
capitalism at its finest. And what you just said, K Dizzle, was so profound, bro. Like you hit it right on the head. I couldn't have said it better myself. Like
Mhm.
and the earlier the better for him because all the regulations are coming.
Mhm.
They're figuring out what's working, what's not working. They're gonna pull things back, even if he does get the green light. Who's to say in the next 12 months after that they might revoke it? You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right. The only reason why it hasn't gone fully legal yet is because they're trying to figure out the best possible pathway. Because once it becomes legal, now you have to talk about expungement on a national level. Expungement in the release on a national level of all these convicted criminals, of having marijuana or selling marijuana, right? Having marijuana or selling marijuana have to be released from a whole nother institutionalized system, which is built based on profit, right? Built based on profit back into the workforce and back into the community. So they haven't figured out how to start that, how to structure the expungement process on the back end of it. Because keep in mind, once it becomes federally legal and all this stuff becomes, and the business itself becomes federally legal and taxed, you've got a lot of people in jail doing hard time for, yeah, expungement and reparations. The price tag is so it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while before it's done, unless unless the business grows too big and they say we have to do this now, and then they'll try to figure it out on the back end. You
Did
know.
you hear? Did you hear in the video, like in like Arizona said, always coercive men, and like how they pander to women. Did you hear the reaction that Jamal Bryant got when he said that?
Yes.
You can hear the
Yes.
you can hear the women say, "Yeah,
It's 100% pandering. a
oh
100%
yeah,
pandering.
get him in here and grow that weed."
They
I
just
don't think there would be reparations either, Adrian. But that's a
no.
whole nother conversation. Nobody's getting paid for the time they did over some weed, but they definitely got to get let out.
Oh my gosh, they got to get out. They got to get out. They'll just probably get there, be released and then get expunged. Their records be expunged, but 10, 15, 20 years locked up. You know how hard it is to reacclimate yourself back into society after being in the box for 20 years. I don't know personally, but
How
I
does
used
it
to all the time.
how does it make sense though for you to tell the people that the thing that people are doing 10 to 15 years for is okay now for you to walk into a store and walk out with that product, and it just it's just nasty. It's
SP
nasty. It's nasty business, bro.
Well, that's PTSD on another level. You're not even we not even think about that part of it. Imagine doing 15 years
Imagine.
because you have 5 bricks of marijuana in your car, and then it becomes legal, and now they get expunged and say, "Hey, you can go. It's legal now."
They just gotta Arizona, they just can't figure it out yet. They gotta figure out how they can make it,
Oh my god!
how they can roll it out. Because you know what, Arizona, if they could figure out how they could roll that out, it would be. And I'm not gonna say it on YouTube.
But so getting back to Pastor Jamal Bryant, right? We all see it as a plot, as a ploy, right? Um, but does it? We, how should we really react to him pulling this out of the hat like this? How should we really react as a community for him to pulling out of the hat
Well,
like this?
you gotta understand, Kay, that there's, like we said, it's big business behind it.
Hmm.
And let's not, like, turn our backs to it. Like, the church is business,
Hmm.
and they got to get people back in the church. They just went through COVID, and a lot of churches lost a lot of money, just like every other business
Yeah.
front over the last 5 years. So what can we do now? Like you said, let's take advantage of all this land. Let's take advantage. Let's take advantage of this entire population that smokes weed, that deals with weed, and let's try to go ahead and cut into the business. And then
Right.
let's get some business advantages through taxing, because whenever you get your big business involved, you can write stuff off, better than me when it comes to
Hmm.
the big finance picture, because now you're not just one man, you're a whole church entity running a whole farm, and you can probably have 10 times more than that one man was. So I'm sure they've got all the loopholes figured out, and it's all big business, man.
But how should this pastor be viewed as using this?
How are you gonna view them? I mean, at the end of the day, pastors are human. Like we talked about before the show. We've seen
Hmm.
pastors, preach on Sunday, be at the club on Wednesday, pull up in a Bentley on Friday. Like, they're human beings,
Hmm.
and that's the thing. Like, you got to divide how you see your pastor, because your pastor is not God, right?
So you having you saying all this stuff right now just takes me back to one of my favorite pastors in the world, which is that New York pastor, right? That has his church is in like an old bodega, right? I don't know if you've seen it where they
Well,
ran up on
that's
him.
the first part.
Wait, this is y'all remember that pastor in New York that he was live streaming and he got robbed live on stream, right?
The one that was all blinged out, they
The
said.
one that's all blinged out, driving a Bentley or driving a Rolls Royce,
Why do you
showing
got to
off his
do that and be
clothes
a
and all this
pastor
other
though,
stuff.
K Dizzle?
Um, and the church being an old bodega. So the dude that got robbed. So it just gives you flashbacks of this guy, talking about he had
Your pastor got
so
issues if he turns into the dude that got robbed because he had 100 grand on his neck.
he had 100 grand on his neck. So I look at Jamal Bryant the same way, saying, just packaging it up in a nicer format. And look, you gotta differentiate the message from the messenger 100%, because the way that it works, from what I understand, is that you can get a message from anywhere. It doesn't matter. Um, whether it be somebody in the pulpit or somebody sitting on a curb. It just doesn't matter. But you have to be cognizant and be able to understand the difference and understand the discernment in between the messages and who's giving that message. So Jamal Bryant going and using this very stereotypical way of saying, "I'm gonna bring black men in off the street," which I know he's not doing it meaning to do it to be stereotypical. He's just targeting the men that he feels that he needs to reach out to the most, um, to come in and teach them and help them to grow this business of his. Because I don't see a way that he's going to be pulling them in and giving them a percentage of the company that he built. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening.
So Arizona Ron poses a very interesting question. He says, "Hef,
Oh, God.
you ever been in church high?" I
The
think
answer is yes,
I
absolutely,
think so.
absolutely.
I think so. But I never smoked on church property.
No, that's a whole different situation right there. Like we were
And that's the
saying,
thing. Like the whole underlying message of today's episode 70 of the All Dressed Up podcast is the line between the messenger and the
and the
message. Because
message.
I'm gonna give you a lot of messages each and every Sunday night at 9 o'clock, and so is K Diz of DC. But you can't hold us to everything because we are human.
So imagine he gets his cannabis mixed up. We already talked about this, man.
Come on,
A
man.
lot of people gonna be coming late, coming back in late from them video announcements, man. Video announcements gonna come on. Half of them gonna go out.
All of a
You're gonna
sudden,
hit that
Jamal
holy.
Bryant gonna be like, "Ushers, I told you to get Gertrude. I told you to pick up Miss Gertrude from the car. They didn't drop Miss Gertrude off at the door, and then they went back in the parking lot. Now, in the back of the parking lot of church, you got a whole bunch of,
You
a
got
lot of
half.
a lot of cars bunched up, a lot of smoke coming from the back of the parking lot. People can't find their seat. People sitting out of place now at church on Sunday.
You got half the congregation going out during the video announcements, hitting that new strain of Jesus piece that come out and not making it back in on time. They going and sitting in Sunday school, Sunday school down. They staying in the bathroom. They just all over the place.
Old man Warren gonna say, "Hey, Beatrice, what you smoking on over there?" And she gonna say, "Boy, that's the hallelujah. That's the hallelujah pack." Yep, they're gonna be
Man.
passing around. They're gonna be passing around 3.5s in the collection plate.
Oh, can you imagine having a top paper dispenser
Mm.
next to the hand sanitizer at that church? That's just a whole different thing. That's all different. It's all
So do you
different. That's
take? So do you take his sermon the same?
Do you take his
Erica,
sermons,
Erica,
man?
Erica, and Shanae, and all our other people in the chat, are y'all taking Pastor Jamal Bryant's sermon the same now? Because this is how he feels. Because we're gonna have another conversation in a few minutes about another messenger.
Is he a messenger? I consider him a blasphemer.
Mm.
I consider him a blasphemer. I don't know.
See, you be judging K Dizzle. I ain't trying to judge.
Look,
Erica says she's not rocking with Pastor Jamal Bryant. He's been a joke, God damn it. She
no.
ain't
So
showing up. Look, he's gonna say, "Come to Bible study. You'll get 25% off on your order." So now everybody gonna
on
show
your
up
three
on
pack.
Thursday so they can get their 25% off on their Amen pack. Come on, man.
All right, all right. So you ready? So look, no thanks, no thanks, no thanks. Um, I think there's a big reason why he left and went to um, Georgia. There's a reason why.
Atlanta,
There's a reason why, and everybody in PG County know why.
the land
Um,
of opportunity, because he probably had warrants.
I ain't say that. I just think our people around here, you know, we snuffed it out. We snuffed it out, and so he had to make a move. But
Yeah,
look,
he had to get a new population of people to do
he had to
business
get a
with.
new population of people. Dang, you called him. I'm not going there. Going there. He a pedophile. I didn't know that. All right, so
Oh yeah, no.
I had no idea, and I'm
Do
not.
your Googles,
I don't
K
know.
Dizzle,
Yeah,
before you
I'm gonna
start
do my
putting
Googles
people up
later.
on the big screen.
So so all right. So this next one just happened, right? Just happened.
This next one.
Is a doozy. All right.
Mm.
What do I want to call him? Influencer extraordinaire. That's what I'm gonna call him. Derek the Man Jackson has announced his divorce from his wife, Denia Jackson, after much prayer, counseling, and deconsideration.
Kevin Samuels is smiling from the
Wait,
grave. Is
wait,
what my man Arizona said off the break. My
wait,
bad, K Dizzle. I didn't mean
wait.
to.
No, you fine. You fine. As after much prayer and counseling and deep consideration, we've decided to separate, go our separate ways, and filed for divorce. He says on the IG post. Now, everybody that knows this whole conversation, this story, knows this was the infamous 5 minute video that shocked everybody who knew what was going on with this fool.
We broke it
Okay,
down to like 25 episodes ago.
broke it down 25 episodes ago. So he what was it? He got caught cheating. He
Got
got
caught
caught cheating.
cheating.
Got caught cheating on his wife. Now, if you don't know who Derek Jackson is, Derek Jackson
Mr.
is
Man of the Year.
Mr. Man of the Year. I call him my residential um, black man basher because he would give out advice to women on how men behave and why they behave the way they do.
Kind of
And
like the
he
opposite of Kevin Samuels.
the opposite of Kevin Samuels. Okay, Kevin Samuels gave women good information, but raw and uncut on why it is the way it is. Derek Jackson, on the other hand, just always took the opportunity to bash men and without giving any other type of shape or side of any story, right? So just to give an example, let me pull this up, right? So that we remember really quick, what this guy, how this guy's operation was. You feel sorry? Why do you feel sorry for this guy?
I'm shocked, Arizona,
I
you
don't
would
even
say
know why
such
he's
a
done.
thing.
So hold on.
Literate. Like it don't matter if you put it on a skyscraper or a billboard or whatever. But then sometimes you can't teach a man your love language because he don't love you. He just enjoys you. Like basically he'll do loving things, but only so long as it's directly beneficial to him. Like say for instance, your love language may be words of affirmation. So he has no problem communicating and speaking to the queen in you and hearing out your thoughts up until your thoughts are holding him accountable or asking for clarity on the relationship. Then all of a sudden you nag and he don't want to talk. Or maybe your love language is quality time and he's down for those date nights and spending time on the phone or whatever until that quality time no longer benefits him sexually. Maybe you're not in the mood. Maybe you grieving. Maybe he said something that hurt your feelings that he need to speak to. And that's enough to stop his efforts for quality time. That lets you know it wasn't love. It was just enjoyment. Or even if your love language is acts of service and he supports your dreams and your business and he invests in you until your business and your dreams is taking off while his ain't. Then not only does the support stop, but he starts saying stuff like, oh, who you think you is? He starts getting insecure. That lets you know. And a simple way to understand the difference between love and enjoyment is if he sabotages the relationship, anytime you try to introduce accountability or reciprocity, that's not love. Those things should never be enough to stop the love that you're getting. And if they are, it ain't love to begin with.
All right,
It's
I
hard for
know.
me. It's hard for me
It's
to sit there and listen to him, man.
that's what's
And I can't say that about a lot of people, but it's really hard for me.
hey, look, I'm cringing letting it play, right? I'm cringing letting it play. But you have to remember, if you're not familiar, you have to remember who this
Mm.
guy is and what he stood for
He's
out here in
he's
these streets.
the bonnet woman's husband.
He's the he's the body woman's husband. So let me go back to this, right? So the man basically just man bashed every man in the universe. Just called him saying he can't understand your legal language because he's illiterate, which is retarded. I'm not going to go that hard. So
Before you go, Kay, the one thing I do want to say and just touch on before you dive deep into this fool and what he did is that there's a percentage of people that actually eat this shit up. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, there's a percentage of women, black women especially, that see the image that he paints as a perfect man as the man that they should be with. And it's scary because that percentage of people believe that that shit is true. And he shows time and time again, before you go, that he's not even that man that he portrays, that he paints out. And I think it's scary for whoever's following and listening to the shit that he says. But go ahead and break it down, bro.
Actually, he is the man that that he portrays. He's the man that he's describing, which is the worst part of it.
Ah,
Which is the worst part of it. So let me give that. All right. So he announced their divorce, right? Then he gets, this is right before he announces it. He gets caught on camera at Art Basel, whoever this is, with Shorty right here, who has the. Do you remember these outfits? The handkerchief outfits. Do you
Shorty
remember
looked
these?
like she got like the
Look,
flea market jump with the
you
nails and everything.
look. Your man Rod called her a bottle girl. You said something about the nails. I didn't even peep. Let me roll up so y'all see the nails I was
I
talking
can't trust no female that got nails like that. I told my girl I can't approve of nails
about.
like that. Look at those points.
Yes, I don't know that guy, but you would not surprise me if you started a congregation mode. He sounds like he's talking in circles. He's
He's
absolutely
definitely
talking in
hey
circles.
Mike, he's definitely talking in
Absolutely
circles.
talking in
And you know
circles.
what? Like, AK, do you feel like I'm not trying to brag, but I feel like unfortunately I'm gifted or cursed with the ability to sense bullshit. Do you feel like just listening to him talk in that last video, I don't know if it was his twang or if I can just see his spirit, but man, he just comes off so fraudulent, man.
so, so we you talked about that earlier. I think it's an innate talent that you learn, especially within the industry that we're in. It's an innate talent. If you really hone your craft, you learn. You could be able to really read and see through people. So yes, if somebody thinks full of shit, you can tell 100. You can tell very quick, very fast, just on a few words coming out of the mouth. 100%. So,
Adrian said I'll change my mind about the nails when she runs them down my back. Laughing my ass. That's funny as shit. Definitely would have jumped him if he walked through Swan Road. You know he wouldn't have been talking like that on Swan Road, Arizona. He's from
no,
Swan Street.
he from the Midwest somewhere. But look, so this guy, our resident man basher slash influencer, telling all these women all this crazy stuff out here.
Never has nothing uplifting,
It's
K,
never
does
has
he?
nothing uplifting to say about men. He ain't a like a Shelton Sloan who's
Like help
paralyzed.
me, man. I want to be
Yeah,
like him. Can he help me?
no, not at all.
Okay.
No, not at all. So he just filed for divorce from his wife. His
What? He
wife
did
of
what?
umpteen years filed for divorce from his wife for umpteen years after they were, reconciling and doing all that other good stuff. Um, and it just, I don't think he has. Look,
Mm.
fewer words spoken have ever been so true.
After she sat there on the internet and sat beside her man with that bonnet and was a soldier of love. She was a soldier of love. He
Yeah,
files for
I'm
divorce
gonna show the bonnet again.
less than 8 months later.
I'm gonna show the bonnet again. So, oh, this irks my nerves so deep because of this right here. When we talked about this many moons ago, it was almost a year ago, wasn't it? Hal? It's had to be like episode 12 or something crazy. The mere fact that he allowed his wife to come on and do a apology video with a bonnet on, just like this, and in clear
Got her
styles,
hand clutched up to where
she cursed us for talking about
she can't move her hand.
like she did. She got upset for talking about him. Um,
Oh,
and then
she cursed her. She did give a shalala.
so she has her own issues. They have their own issues. There's their relationship. But when you become a person in the public eye, or you become an influencer based on the advice that you're giving everybody on the internet, and they're seeming to soak it up and share it and show other people this bad advice that you're consistently giving out, um, and you're not true to living what you're saying you're doing or living the advice you're giving out,
So what you're
you,
saying is it's bad business, even if you do got a percentage of people that's eating it up.
bro, you're a dumpster. You're a dumpster fire. You're
Mm.
absolute dumpster fire. 100%. I think we should cross all of your videos out as propaganda from from here on out. No,
That's why personally it's interesting for me to see people step out there so hard on a line like they
mhm,
can't be like they're high almighty. You know what I'm saying? Like it's dangerous to play that game when
mhm.
you're living in the public and you're talking about how men ain't shit and men gotta be this and men gotta be that. But look at what you're doing, man. And it's almost better to not take that route with your content because you gotta have that perfect persona all the way around. And rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. He never said he was perfect. He would
Mhm.
always give women advice on how they could elevate their level.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's the thing.
So so what do we take from this, right? What do we take from we talked about his fall from grace. I don't want to give him a whole bunch of airway. I'm saying, um who are yes, what is
Be
the
careful
information
where
he
you
gets
but
from?
be careful again, like we talked about in the early episodes of where you get your information from. Like information is one thing. Are you investing are you investing into the messenger? Like some people buy into the person that's giving the message.
Mhm.
Are you buying into Jamal Bryant, the man, because he's probably going to disappoint you somewhere down the line?
Mhm.
If you buy into Pastor Jamal Bryant, the man, somewhere down the line, he's going to show you a side of him that you're going to be like, I don't think I should do that.
Right.
So my biggest thing is listen to the word, take it for what it's worth, no matter who's giving it, and that's how you got to live your life. I will hope you're not a percentage of that population that just eats up what people say and take it as law, because it's going to set you up for failure.
Yes, that look, they are human, and we don't know them. We don't know who they really are, what they really do, or what
Exactly.
what they really do on it. Yes, he was a car seat guru. All his videos was in the parking lot during break,
You're
wherever he
kidding.
was
You're
going.
kidding me.
I don't know if he was. He must have been a lot. He must have managed he must have worked at Planet Fitness or something. He was just outside in the parking lot a lot,
Oh, you talk about
um,
sitting in his car.
sitting in his car. That's where he
Yeah,
did most of his videos. But look. Um, we can say that we can say that about what we do, right? But the one thing we try to make sure
absolutely.
that we do is we look at all different facets and all different angles from the conversation that we're having, versus this is very direct and clear, like the clip that I played, that was like, um chalkboard scratches to your ears, because you understood that he doesn't really care. In that one clip, you can tell he didn't really care about women trying to figure out or trying to help their man grow, because they we just took what he did or how he responded as he doesn't love you, he
E-
only
e- e-
enjoys you, which is
exactly.
far from the truth. Right,
E-
which is far from the truth. When every time I've watched that clip 3 times, and every time I watch it, I get more and more furious, more and more upset, because now I'm thinking, well, how many relationships that could have been salvaged did he freak really just destroy, disintegrate? And I was thinking, okay, well, I'm not looking at his marriage and saying, oh, good for him or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying, hey, here's another example in failures and how marriages fail, and how and you got to look at it and say, well, what made it fail? What was the reasons behind the failure in itself? I think it was just a choice. I knew I couldn't trust him the way he spelled Jackson. It's nasty.
but like you said, K Dizzle, Arizona says, rest in peace, Derek Jackson, right?
Hmm.
And he spells it the Jaxn, not gonna be your regular self because it's a persona.
Hmm.
And the scary part about it, Arizona, is a lot of these women didn't understand it's a persona. They took it as
Hmm.
like, oh shit, this is my gateway to understand my man.
Right.
And all these women are getting bad advice from a bad leader. You're following the leader.
Hmm.
And as a society, we have to have more leaders than followers, just like they taught us in school. Because what type of person are you getting this advice from? Like this man had his wife sitting up there with her bonnet on, siding with him when he got caught cheating, only to file for divorce. He filed for divorce,
Hmm.
less than a year later. So like I said, be careful who you get your information from. Even when I talk my shit each and every Sunday night on this show, like I'm talking, it might be based on some of my views. You don't have to take everything I say as law, but the difference is we have an open platform. You can always come on, chop it up with me and K Does DC.
Mhm.
But that's all I got with that, bro.
So it, you said something. We need more leaders. Here's the other part. Here's the other side of that, right? Um, you got to be careful who you crown a leader. You got to be
Absolutely.
careful who you crown a leader. We got a lot of other people that here that shouldn't be here.
And you shouldn't
That should be
necessarily
leading.
crown yourself a leader if you don't have that real not to cut you off, bro, but
Hmm.
that real care, that discernment, like you said.
Hmm. A lot of people, these podcasts and social media influencers say anything, and people do follow them 100%. You know, you have to be able to make yourself happy. If you can't make yourself happy, you never truly make your significant other happy. That is so true. Women don't know that they're targeted because they spend the most money.
Mm,
Pandering to women is big business. Absolutely. If a person is speaking a narrative that fits your belief, you will run with it.
absolutely.
You will run with it. And so we go with what we feel at that moment, at that time in our lives, that agrees with what we think how the world should be, or how it fits, or how our relationship is going, or what we
Because
think our man is. Because we
because you
want,
can almost
go ahead.
I was just saying real quick, you can almost find that source of like the way people talk the way you want them to.
Hmm.
So like Erica said, like you can pretty much go in and find that source, but that's all I
Yeah.
was saying.
No, you're going to find somebody who's speaking exactly what you want to hear at any given time. And the problem is, once you start going down that rabbit hole, they start leading you in ways or circumstances, situations that you definitely didn't see yourself being in before. You start thinking a certain way, acting a certain way, and then that just removes a lot of the positive energy or things that could be coming to you in your life because of the change in you by just following down that path. Another perfect example, Andrew Tate. I don't know if
Mm,
you know Andrew Tate.
yeah,
Everybody called him toxic. He was toxic to a certain extent. But he got to a certain point where he got to a platform. He felt like he could say whatever he wanted, and he said the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time, or
you gotta
things happen.
go.
You gotta go. You gotta go. So look, man. Shout out, shout out to two major things. Jamal Bryant telling the truth, shaming the devil that he wants to start a cannabis business and masquerading as
The
bringing
the
black men to the
gas
church.
pastor, the
Gas
gas
pastor,
pastor.
gas pastor, and shout out to Derek Jackson making a decision in his life to move on from his wife, which we may or may not agree with, but the decision was his and his alone. Now the angst just sits on him to be who is he going to be now that we know everything
Now, now
behind it.
that we now that we know he's like the Muhammad Ali of relationship experts, because he can dodge all his situations like Neo in the Matrix, and still come back and talk like he has some education he can get. Pretty soon, he's going to be able to do a what not to do video.
Yeah, to see what Bianca said. This is the main reason why
I
Jamal
can't
Bryant left this
stand
area.
Jamal.
This is the main reason why he left this area. He's figuratively gaslighting, literally and figuratively gaslighting folks
He had
to
to
come
take a
to the
show on the
church.
road. He had to take a show on the road, and now he's found a way, like we talked about earlier in the episode, to put his foot in a big business and be the first to merge church and weed.
First emerged cannabis into. I mean, I'm just thinking about it. The tax implications are ridiculous because as a church, as an entity, you pay no taxes to the state or to the federal government, right? You pay no taxes.
He gonna
So
find a way to pay no taxes.
now you have a whole nother revenue stream that you don't have to pay taxes on. Well, it's not taxed anyway, but I mean, goodness gracious, that's business 101. That man, ooh, 501c3. Him and Creflo Wild. Him and
Where's
Creflo Wild.
Creflo at these days? I haven't
I'm
I
just
haven't seen Creflo.
I'm just ready to have a blunt during church. Oh my God.
Hey Bianca, you missed when Arizona asked if I was ever high in church. He asked me that question earlier. That was interesting.
look, look, look. What one thing that I love when we do this, we have a lot of interaction. We try to get back to a lot of media, a lot of interaction, social interaction. We appreciate everybody who's sliding in tonight and brought their A game in the conversation and what we want to talk about. We're going to keep this thing rolling every Sunday. We are on episode 70, my guy. Episode 70. If you don't know, we're on Spotify, we are on iTunes, we are on any channel, Apple, any definitely higher church, plenty of times. I got the word better. I don't know if you got the word better. I think you just gotta you just left it on a high note. But I mean, we're
The
everywhere.
choir
The
sounded better
choir,
off
choir
that
sounded
stump.
better. We are on we'd love for all our Facebook people to come to YouTube, but wherever it's easier for you, we'll see you there. But all the links and everywhere we are right here. Um, man, church growing weed. Can you imagine pulling up to church and not only does it smell like a strain on the outside, but it smells like a strain on the inside?
Why not? Smoking that hallelujah pack, man.
That's only you. Usually, you only get that. You only get that like on Mother's Day. You only get that on Easter, on Mother's Day, and what's the other day? What's the other day you get that? New Year's. Those are
Mm.
only 3 days that you'll ever get a hint of marijuana around church area. A hint, and that's the church in the hood. In the hood. Every other time, every other Sunday. Just imagine it just being a
Erica
random
said
Sunday in April.
gasoline draws.
Yeah, gasoline draws. You would be a member,
Bianca
B.
says she will be a member.
Oh, so you want your own Brian to come and bring a branch up here?
Mm.
He'll bring a branch up here. He knows his people up here. But look, we love y'all.
You won't even need a brochure.
You won't even need a brochure.
Hey, maybe that's how we'll get our
Look,
podcast to grow. We'll start growing
hey,
some
let's
some
start growing
ADU
weed
skunk.
live. Hey, you skunk. Hey,
Hey, man, look,
tell them where to find us.
we're live each and every Sunday night at 9 o'clock. You know about that. The All Dressed Up podcast on Instagram channel is 24/7. Please follow because news hits there. We got some new shit coming out. Please keep an eye out for us. I am Half Streams. You can find me everywhere at Half Streams. K Dizzle is K Dizzle DC. You can find him everywhere at K Dizzle DC. And before I forget, we got some merch coming soon, right, K Dizzle?
Oh my gosh, we got some merch coming soon. We got an ACG hat, that ACG shirt that's coming. Don't worry, B. It's already in the works. I got some things
We
popping.
gonna we gonna cut you in.
Shout out to shout out to so you gonna make me do a whole black business plug on my own black business right now.
There
Shout
you
out to
go.
infoapparel.com. That's gonna get a lot more of the stuff that's coming out of our apparel. Uh Look at this, look at that hat, look at that fitted right there. Look
We
at the
coming.
snapback. We coming. We coming out here in these streets. Shout out to infoapparel.co. You can go there and get some of your own stuff. We'll do your thing there. But we got a lot more merch coming.
You
A
in,
lot
you
more
in,
stuff.
B, you in.
You and B. I mean, I'd rather be home hoodie, all that other good stuff. Look, you want we got you. So a lot of good things on the rise, a lot of new things on the rise. And look, 2023 for have to blow up his YouTube channel and all that good stuff. And more importantly, the podcast is expanding. We're on every channel available. We got fans in Russia, Alaska, the Netherlands. We got West Coast, East Coast. We are moving and shaking. We love y'all, and we only do this because of y'all and because you show up every Sunday and make the conversation that more exciting and that more involved. We learn from you. We love you. We appreciate you. And where can they find us again, Hef? What time?
9 o'clock each and every
Every
Sunday night,
Sunday.
Eastern Standard Time. Join us next week for the year wrap up, man. We got some fun shit coming for y'all too. So check
Super
us out.
fun stuff, man. Love y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
And and I know, and they know, cause we go all in, and I know, they know.